Ooh, let me take my name down. I need to change my name.
7:14. Has meeting started?
Mm-hmm. Come on now. What did I do?
Put down.
No, I didn't put leave. She came up and I was trying to get audio. I was trying to get video.
Hello. Renee, I left before you. How can I be enough?
Hello.
Renee, I left the house before you got up.
Oh no.
No, I'm at work. I'm at work. All right. Yeah. Yes. All right. Just sign date at the very bottom. Sign ready. That's all you.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna have to get out for this. Oh no, I can't miss this meeting. I gotta be on this meeting. Miss Cordia.
Yes, ma'am. They started.
Hello, how you doing today?
Hello.
You Mr. Elijah? I'm Justin, nice to meet you.
I mean, oh
You guys have a
no,
good time on
I was
vacation?
up there the whole time.
All right,
And
so,
then look,
okay,
oh, it's
sign
on.
this,
Go there.
fill this out for me.
How
Where
do
are
I
you
get
in right now?
video?
New Hanover, okay.
Go
So I'll
start
go
video.
ahead and put you as your ID for New Hanover. You have a student ID, I assume.
Ah,
Hi.
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 Hi. How you doing,
I'm
Stephanie?
doing well. How about
Hi,
you?
Stephanie. We're doing great. We're doing great.
Good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. I was going to change my screen name. I was trying to figure out how to change it.
Oh, if
Queen
you
bee is
hover
just
over your
fine.
picture, you'll see like a blue button pop up in the right corner that says mute, and then you'll see the 3-dot button. If you
Okay.
press the 3 dots,
Good to go?
there should
Okay.
be a drop down menu that comes up and it says rename.
Of course.
Oh, great.
Y'all
Okay.
have a good one. And give us a call if you have any questions or need anything, okay? Have a good one.
Thank y'all. You're welcome.
Okay. There. See,
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I am with New Hanover County Council of PTAs.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Bernice should be joining us too, but I think she had a couple issues she was trying to get taken care of today.
Okay. Okay. Good morning.
Hello. How beautiful you look.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. How beautiful you look.
Oh, you're so kind. You
I love
always
your
look
hair.
gorgeous.
Oh,
You
thank
know
you.
what? I was just saying how I was like, it's authentic. It's dried.
I can't tell from here.
I'm just trying. Oh, you are just too kind. I love your hair.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Mrs. Byer is on another Zoom meeting, and she
Okay.
wanted me to let you know she will be tuning in. It'll just be late.
Okay.
And I believe Jennifer Dupai is coming on.
Okay.
So,
Wonderful.
yes, you've been
Wonderful.
staying cool. It's really hot outside.
It's been really hot. I'm here in Wilmington, so hot and humid, damp. But today is actually pretty lovely. The morning was pretty lovely. So
Yes, the breeze. I live in Jacksonville, and the breeze was wonderful.
yeah.
And even last evening, when the temperature dropped a little bit, it was about 73, and it had rained, and the sun was out. It was marvelous. It was just. There's a lot of water though. A lot of places had gotten. Oh, someone's calling me. Just a moment. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Hey, Wanda.
Hi, William. How are you?
What's going on? At Sutton? Well, I was there. Oh, excuse me. Let me put my. I'm.
Bernice and Mead, good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, Lamine. Hi, Adam.
Morning.
We'll give everybody just a few more minutes to come on. I see Christy. Hi, Christy. Hi, Mebin.
How are you?
Good. It's good to see you too.
Oh, hey, Wanda.
Hey, Mebin.
It's been a
Good
while.
to see
Yeah.
you.
Good
Yes.
to see you.
Comfortable?
Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
Yes.
Okay, we have a couple more joining.
What does it say? Okay. Answer them. Yes, I'm going to just answer. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mom.
Good for you. Okay.
Hi, it's Mead. I just wanted to say hello. I'm in a car, so I'm just going to keep myself out of view and get to look at all of lovely you. But I hope everybody is having a good day.
Oh, thank you, Mead. Okay, well, I think we have most of our participants on. Just good morning. It's so nice to see everybody's face. Nice to see some local faces mixed in with some faces from different places in the state. It's really great to get started in this work with you guys. I really appreciate everybody coming on this morning. I know it's such a busy time, but this is such important work. So I just wanted to acknowledge you guys for joining in with us. This morning, we're just going to be doing a training module just on voter engagement. And like I said, just covering some basics of that as we get started on this voter engagement program. On the call, we have with us Child. I can let them introduce themselves, but we have Adam Sotak and do you guys want to jump in and introduce yourselves?
Yeah, just real quickly, I'm Adam Sotak. I'm the Public Engagement Director at NC Child, and I'm really excited about this voter engagement work. Thanks to all of you all for being a part of it.
Thanks, Adam.
Hi, everyone. Lamine Perkins, Assistant Director of Community Engagement. Thank you all for joining.
All right, thank you, Lamine. So this is our participating organizations. Most of our logos are here. Again, just thanking you guys for doing this work. You may see some logos of organizations that you're familiar with working in your community. I just wanted to give you guys a visual of everybody that's partnering in this program, and just to give you an idea of the different kinds of organizations that are engaging the electorate. Just to give you an idea, again, of the influence that your organization has in the community and how we're going to leverage that for letting people have a voice and feel empowered and help us shape elections and things that matter to the people that we serve. I will say also just some brief housekeeping things. If you don't mind keeping your mic on mute, and if at any point you'd like to jump in with a question, that's fine. You can unmute yourself or you can ask in the chat box. Also, we'll probably stop about halfway in if you need for a bio break, just so you know that's going to be coming up too. So just a quick overview of what this project is about. NC Child understands that nonprofits have a deep understanding of systemic barriers of change that are kind of in the fabric of the people that we serve, of the communities that we serve. So we rely on these strong relationships that you as service providers bring to the table to help reach unlikely this is probably something that you guys already know that you serve, but we just want to make sure that key issues are brought up in a way that the people that we serve have a voice. And we know that you can make this happen with your organization. The goal for this project is to mobilize lots of voters, unlikely voters, to participate in the 2020 election by the signing of pledge cards. We want to engage nonpartisan voter engagement and educate unlikely voters on safe voting practices in light of COVID-19. And we really want to focus on safety. And there are things that you're probably already doing as you provide services for your constituents that you will be integrating this voter engagement program with. So you've probably already got those safety measures in place. But for the voters, we really want to maximize that relationship of trust so that they know any suggestions that you make to empower them as voters to go and vote. You have their physical safety in mind. So we just want to kind of give some data, a visual that shows that this nonprofit vote model is a highly effective model. This can show us that voters 18 to 24 and 25 to 34, when engaged with nonprofits, have 20 points higher or to 15 points higher engagement when they are approached by service providers that they trust. As you can see, young voters had the largest turnout advantage. Nonprofits, again, have that unique position to empower unlikely voters and to support them as they shape elections. The issues that matter most to voters get the most attention. And we know that this highly effective model helps improve voter turnout and outcomes despite commonly reported barriers. A lot of those barriers to people in this age group, some of your constituents, some of those barriers that they face are campaigns don't really make contact with them because they don't have a history in voting. And that's generally called a negative feedback loop. That would be that graphic on the right in red. Campaigns don't make contact with them, people don't vote, and they're labeled as unlikely voters. So candidates don't really make that effort to reach and listen to those constituents. But when you inject what you guys do, your nonprofit, as you engage voters, campaigns do make contact, people vote, and they're labeled as likely voters, and that is a positive feedback loop. That's the difference that nonprofits make in voter engagement, and it's crucial to helping the people you serve be able to make informed decisions, for their voices to be heard, and for them to be able to shape elections in ways that influence the things that matter to them the most. So some of the things that your constituents may face, it could be understanding what's true, what's not true, and we'll talk about some of the things being discussed around ways to access the polls or ways to access the ballot later in this training. Being able to make a plan to go vote. They need childcare, they need transportation. Do they know where the polling place is? Also, needing to find somebody to cover their shift at work, or to have to take time off of work if their plan is to vote on a weekday. And again, we'll talk about different ways to empower our constituents to be able to vote without having to worry about missing work time. And some people just don't know where to vote. And we'll cover how they can look up where to vote to make sure that their information is correct and they do show up at the right polling place. And again, there's questions that they may have about things that matter to them, that you are their first point of contact to direct them to nonpartisan information on what candidates represent, all candidates. So today, first we're going to talk about nonprofit do's and don'ts. We're going to discuss absentee ballots and online voter registration. And we'll also discuss our voter pledge cards. So what can a nonprofit do? Essentially, promoting democracy is a charitable act. So anything you do to take part in sharing public information with your constituents is something that you can do. So we want to strive to be nonpartisan in every engagement, every constituent. This can be conducting and promoting voter registration, encouraging people to vote, but not telling them who to vote for, educate voters on the voting process, hosting candidate forums, distributing ballots, and continuing issue advocacy. Things that we can't do, and I'm sure that as nonprofits you guys are well aware, you can't endorse any candidate, rate a candidate, or tell people who to vote for. So these are some things that like I said, you are probably already knowledgeable of. But it's also good to kind of think and process as you engage with pledge cards, how you will be, how you'll present your nonprofit as nonpartisan through that engagement. So we're going to watch a quick video from our friends at You Can Vote on staying nonpartisan with voter engagement.
Well, now is your time to complete some demographic information.
Okay.
And it's optional
Uh-huh.
concerning your party, number 6. And if you decide not to list your party, then you will be marked unaffiliated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Say, who are you voting for?
Well, I'm here just to try to make sure all eligible voters get registered. And that's my job. Also, to make sure you know when to go to vote and where to go to vote.
Yeah, I know, but come on. You can tell me who you're voting for.
Honestly, I just am doing my civic duty, and I really enjoy the civic engagement.
I guess you're not going to give it up, are you?
No.
Okay.
Okay, now here's the section you complete concerning your party affiliation.
So which party are you?
Well, You Can Vote as a nonpartisan organization, so I'm just here to make sure folks get registered and just doing my civic duty.
Okay.
Here, this is the part where you now choose your party affiliation.
Okay. I'm a little bit confused about this. Which party should I mark?
Well, you know, I really can't tell you which party to choose. We're a nonpartisan organization. However, if you want to tell me of any candidates you're aware of or politicians, I can tell you which party they belong to.
Okay, so what party is Bush and what party is Obama?
Okay, President Bush is a Republican.
Okay.
President Obama is a Democrat. And you can always do some research before you mark if you're not certain now, and then change it later.
Oh, okay. Well, that was helpful. Thanks.
Okay. Well, now is your time to complete some demographic information.
Okay.
And it's optional concerning your party, number 6. And if you decide not to list your party, then you will be marked unaffiliated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Say, who are you voting for?
Well,
Okay. So that was just a quick video. I like how the voter registration volunteer continued to double down and not showing any sort of partisan affiliation. She continued to redirect the voter with just giving her basic information and not aligning herself with any sort of political belief, which is so important. Because I feel as you engage your constituents and they trust you, they may want some direction on, well, what do you believe about this? Who's going to be the best candidate to serve in this capacity? So it's very important that the volunteers that you have working for your organization and your staff know and troubleshoot how to avoid those uncomfortable conversations that could lead to your organization looking partisan. So we can also talk about things that we should do as a nonprofit in this work. We should definitely integrate voter engagement into the culture of our organization. And I know for some of you on the call, that's already in place. A lot of the basic tenets of your mission is to engage the electorate. But for some others, you offer other services that may not be engagement focused. So this would be a great opportunity to start talking about how the culture of your organization can wrap around engagement and have it integrated into the services that you provide. You also want to work on securing buy-in from your frontline staff and volunteers. It would help to have a core group of staff that are focused on voter engagement, a core group of volunteers that kind of lead the call in engaging volunteers, understanding the needs of your particular constituents, and meeting them where they are and giving information and engaging in signing voter pledge cards. You'd also want to encourage your staff to vote too. Make this something that your entire organization is excited about and really sees it as integral to serving the communities that you are a part of. Another thing that you can do or should do to help educate your constituents is to utilize our NC Child data cards for candidate and voter education. Here you have, I just pulled up a screenshot of two examples, a New Hanover County card and a Wayne card. But they just give some statistics.
Sorry, Javanae, I can't see the slide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
There, sorry. Thank you, Adam. We have our NC Child data cards for candidate and voter education. And these just kind of give a snapshot of what's going on in your county. And on the back of those cards, we have some questions for elected officials and candidates. So these are great resources, great tools for you to use to distribute to your constituents, to candidates in your area, just to give them an idea of what's going on specifically in your county. And again, it empowers your constituents to know what's going on, to know what kind of questions to ask, and to spur thought and conversation in the community. So now we're going to get into breakout groups, just to discuss ways you plan to engage voters. How will or do you establish, I'm sorry, the screen keeps clearing out. How will you or do you establish staff buy-in, and how will you stay nonpartisan? So I will stop sharing my screen and put you guys in breakout groups of 3.
I'll be so impressed if you make this work, Javanae.
Here it goes. Watch me try. Okay. All right, great. Here we go. there.
Hi. Is it
How
up?
are you?
Did I miss the whole training?
No, not at
Okay.
all. We're in breakout rooms, and I will put you in a breakout room right now, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. And it should give you a prompt for you to join.
Okay, it did. It just did. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Good to see you this morning.
We are now in the main session.
Yeah, so now we're here. We got it's Miss. I always call her Miss Skiba because I never could pronounce her first name. I'm gonna have to get you to teach me how to do that breakout room. That was neat. I've always heard people talk about it, but I've never actually done it.
Well, I do hold my breath every time I do.
Well done, David.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And I am going to learn how to pronounce your first name. Say it for me.
Javanay.
I'm going to be practicing. I'm going to have it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's definitely not pronounced the way it's spelled, but I will say my mother did that on purpose.
It's the French, the French.
It is French.
The French way.
French. It's supposed to be spelled, the Venee is supposed to be spelled like Renee, the Venee, but my mom changed it so that nobody could copy it.
Gotcha.
It's a beautiful name. It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone. So I hopped in on a great discussion with Jennifer and William, and I just thought we'd take just about 5 minutes and kind of run through what was brought up in each group, because it's, if there's anything that we can troubleshoot that together really quickly, or encourage some practices that we know work. Let's go. Anybody can jump in.
I think one of the main things we talked about was the different communities and the nuclear families, but especially with dealing with this new population of legal voters. The ones that had to go through the drive-through graduations, and the ones that just graduated high school. That's the population that we're gonna make a dent, especially dealing with the families, nuclear families that have 5, 6 people in their households. So when dealing with that, especially coming from my perspective of a school, when we register the students, we're going to be engaged with these families, and also to find out, try to pull information as far as how many people of legal age do you have in your household, and are they registered to vote? And that's one of the aspects that we're going to be coming from.
Awesome.
And so,
when you chime in, please just let us know your name and who you're with, if you don't mind.
Hey, so this is Bernice Johnson. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So a question that I had, just a clarification. So the cards they're pledging to vote, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one thing that we thought may be important is, and I don't know how we can do this, is because you can get people to pledge to vote, but they may come back and say, well, I'm not even registered to vote. So maybe a good idea to have some voter registration cards on hand. And I know some of the different organizations and sororities and fraternities will come out and actually help with the voter registration. So that may be something helpful for all of us to have on hand as well.
Good idea. Good idea. Would anybody else like to share really quickly?
This is Mebin with the Resiliency Task Force. We talked about, because some of the contact with our clients right now is not in person and by phone or email, that adds a little bit of a challenge to this getting cards signed. But we wanted to we were sort of brainstorming ways that we could either take if on a phone call with someone, we can sign the card for them, and then maybe send a picture of that card signed in their name so that they really understand what was done on their behalf, so that it's not something that when the call comes from NC Child, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, so that there's a way to emphasize what happened over the phone. So that was Mead's idea. I thought that was a really good idea.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Hi, I'm Wanda DeBose with Forever Caring Community Outreach Services, and we talked about collaboration on coming together for events. We did an event 2 weeks ago, and we had 30 people to register, you know, without this training or anything. So we talked about, you know, coming together, bringing certain events, even, you know, hosting more events so that we can come together with voter engagement and registration.
Awesome.
Because probably what's, again, this is Bernice Johnson with New Hanover County Council of PTAs. We're probably gonna have a lot of overlap with some of the potential participants, and that's what we found in discussion with Wanda. They do an excellent event that I just want to go check out because it sounds nice, but it would probably be, the populations will probably overlap is what we found.
Okay.
So if the populations do overlap, I don't know if it, we want to make sure that we meet our goal of, you know, X number of, you know, voters. So if you get a card from from two different organizations, because maybe the person forgot that they pledged, or they just said, oh, I want to help you out too, so I'm going to pledge with you. How do we assign the credit, you know, for lack of a better word, towards meeting our goal?
Well, I mean, I can sit and consider that a little bit deeper, but I would really just want to encourage you just to continue to get the pledge cards. And if there is overlap, honestly, it just spurs that and gives us another opportunity to follow up with that person, really. And for both your organizations being in the same area and having that overlap, I think it just really strengthens the presence of voter engagement in our community. But like I said, I'll think about that a little deeper and see if there's any way that I can troubleshoot that. But I really kind of see that working in everybody's favor, really. All right. Well, thanks everybody for the feedback. I took some notes and some things I'm going to think through, and it was all valuable. Thank you. So we will move on. And as we talked about before, that voter I think Bernice brought that up, voter registration cards on hand. That would be awesome to have. And I also wanted to bring into light the online voter registration option as well. It's a great way for us to check voter information for voters who are already registered as well. But if you are finding that you're running into people that you serve that are not registered, this is a great, accessible, and safe way for them to register as well. Again, safe alternative to registering in person, and it's accessible through the website. So it may be that someone doesn't have a license and it may not be the best option for them, but if they have an ID card or a license, it's a great option. This is the link. I'm just going to go to the site really quickly so you can see how it's set up. It's really easy and straightforward. Voter registration application. Oh yeah,
Sorry.
is it not? No.
We're just seeing that white screen with the link.
Ah, okay. There. Can you see that now?
Yep.
Okay. So you have, again, it's really straightforward voter registration application. You can scroll down, and if you're just checking registration status and details, you can click the link and it gives a place to enter the voter's information. And in talking to some other organizations, some of their outreach is tech-based, so this is something that they showed a lot of interest in using on site all the time with their voter engagement. So this is definitely a great tool for us to use, again, to stay safe. But as Bernice was saying, you know, if there are people who want to engage and you find that they are not registered, this can be a good alternative too, that you can direct them to. You can text them the link. Safe and contactless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just say, totally agree, Javon. And this is a new thing for North Carolina. We've been wanting this to happen for years and years. And here we are finally in 2020 where you can register online to vote. So as Javon said, you do either have to have a North Carolina driver's license or a North Carolina ID card. But I would guess 80% of folks, I don't know, I'm just guessing, have one or the other. So it will come in handy a lot of times. Of course, you can also have the good old fashioned paper forms, but this might be an easier way if you've got somebody set up that can just register them right there online and get it done.
Absolutely. Okay. So another option that we have as we engage voters is to let voters know about absentee or vote by mail ballots. Here's another visual from You Can Vote. Just on voting by mail, you have to request a ballot, and letting people know that. This would be something that you could post on your websites or something that you can hang visibly if you are brick and mortar, still providing services in a building. So we'll talk just a little bit about how to access it, who's eligible, and some myths or misconceptions about vote by mail. So I'll pull this link up too. Can you guys see that? Did that show up? No? Okay. Here we are. Is that better? Okay. So this is the North Carolina State Board of Elections. This is something, again, you can text a link to some of your constituents, and just gives a great rundown of absentee voting in North Carolina. Requesting a ballot, you have to send in a ballot request, and there are links to this on this page that you can share with your constituents as well. It's also great to let people know in conversation as you engage them to sign the pledge cards that the deadline for absentee ballots would be 5 p.m. Tuesday, October 27th. I've been trying to drill that into my head so that that's something that comes up conversationally with me as I talk about voter engagement and as I talk about absentee ballots. This is really another safe way for people to vote. We don't want people to think that this is the only way to vote, but when we think of vulnerable populations accessing the ballot safely, this is something that is just another option, another tool to empower our voters. So again, like I said, this is a great link to text out or to share with the people that you serve, just to give them another way to vote. They may have questions about it. There are so many resources that you can use. This, to me, is the most, as I would say, legitimate source that everybody would know about and feel comfortable using. But you can also copy request forms and have them wherever you deliver services. If you're distributing food, you can put a request form with that, and have instructions too on how to fill out the request, or instructions on how to fill out the ballot appropriately when they receive it. This is just another way that you can talk about safety in voting. And for voter-facing language, again, sometimes there's this misconception that it's not safe, that somebody may tamper with my ballot, but things like that are really rare. And when you handle that ballot yourself, you fill it out appropriately, seal it, and you put it in the mail yourself, take it to the post office yourself, or have a specified designee, somebody you trust, like your mom or your spouse, take that ballot to mail it for you. That is really rare. It's very rare. Just letting voters know that this is something that they can trust. And there's been forms of vote by mail always. The military has absentee ballots. So it's something we can do that, again, empowers our voters and is protected and safe. And also, we're going to talk a little bit later about early voting, which is another form of absentee voting, just in person. Are there any questions about absentee voting? I know.
I have one, Javane. Like,
yes, yes.
When somebody uses absentee ballot, does it get counted later than the regular vote? I guess, is it adding to sort of uncertainty of election results if we're not really going to have these votes counted until after the main votes have been counted? What are you hearing on that?
I'm hearing that that's not necessarily the case. They don't take votes past a certain day, and they will count votes up to 3 days after the election. So I can see why people would think that those votes may not really count towards that election, but they do. They totally do.
Yeah, and they it gets very complex in some ways, but they don't officially, certify the election, as you all may know, for like 10 days after. And this county board of elections has to do a canvass, and that's when they sort of, are making sure all the votes are tabulated correctly. And so if there are absentee ballots that come in, after election day, those will continue to be added. But my understanding is that all the ones they have on hand on election day, they go ahead and add into the mix and try to count. I do expect, I am preparing myself for, given we're going to have a huge increase in mail-in ballots all over the country, that we are probably not going to have a final result of this election for weeks after the election. Perhaps I'm wrong, but I could see this being like a Bush-Gore deal and going and going, because there's just going to be lots of lawyers involved.
Yeah, I do not disagree with that. Absolutely. Any other questions? Okay. All right, so again, we don't want to forget early voting. That is another safe way. As Adam was saying about all the votes coming in and all the changes to how we vote safely this year, early voting is definitely a safe option, but it may be more crowded than usual. I'm an early voter, and my poll where I go to where they close to me where you can early vote, I can go in and out no problem, but it may be a little more high traffic, but it's still going to be a safe way for voters to vote. And ultimately what we want to encourage is early voting is another option. But from all three options that we talked about, voting in person, absentee ballots, and early voting, we want our constituents to choose what is best for them and best for their families. They should never have to worry about practicing their right to vote and jeopardizing their safety. So throw that ball back in their court, give them the information, educate them, but then say, do what empowers you, do what keeps you safe, do what you feel comfortable with, what's best for you. So we're going to take just a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back, just a bio break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about pledge cards, and then we'll have just another quick breakout. Okay, we'll go on and get started here in a few more seconds. Wait for everybody to come back on. Okay, all right, I think I see most faces back on, so we will finish on up. So I just wanted to go over pledge cards. I know it seems like there's not much to a pledge card, but we found that when people don't write legibly and forget to fill in or skip certain information, then we can't get back in touch with them. And as this is our primary form of mobilization, we have to be able to get back in touch with them. Again, it's one more way for us to support them and empower them, allowing them to understand how to make their voices heard. And then also, as I said, if we want to follow up with that text, that phone banking, or even safely in person, we want to know who we've reached out to, and we have to be able to read that. So this is our NC Child voter pledge card. And I'm really grateful for the help in creating this from a team at NC Child. It's really more lovely than I thought it would be. And more important than it being lovely, I feel like it gives us, our organizations, just the best basic information. But then also it's a breakaway card, or a tearaway card. So we are also giving some really good information to the people that we serve. Just making sure that they're registered at their current address. Do they need an absentee ballot? And then giving the date for when they need to have that ballot back in. And then making them think about where their polling place is, where their place to vote in person is. Giving them more resources if they have any questions at ncvoter.org. Also offering a hotline. It highlights Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. And then it goes even farther to say, have you made a plan to vote, which is so important because Election Day can creep up. We haven't made a plan, we have to work. Our child doesn't have anybody but me to take care of the child. So what are all those things? Or my car breaks down, or I don't drive a car, or have a car. Like, what are all those things that could come up to separate that voter from getting their vote out? So making sure they feel in control of casting their ballot by having them set up a date, set a time, plan transportation, and show up. Just to take it seriously as something that they're planning to do, having it on their calendar. If they're going to early vote, where are they supposed to go? And you know, how long will those polls be open, just so they can plan and be in control of casting their ballot. And then also, have you told 5 friends or family? And I love what William said earlier about the voters that I think Dillard Academy are focused on are those kids that just crossed the stage. And these are great things for them to have context for as they go out to vote, and now they share it with the other kids that have crossed the stage. So, and letting their parents make sure that they vote, letting their parents know to make sure that they vote. We also have on this card your logo, and that again would be more buy-in from the people that you serve. They see NC Child, which is a trusted name in our state, but then they also see that connecting piece of your organization reflected on the card, which is so important. Again, we have highlighted mobile phones because that is primarily what everybody has. And if we have that, we can use that texting option for people to be reminded to vote. And then for you guys to be able to follow up as well with phone banking.
Jay Renee, I had a quick question about that, about the card.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so have these cards been printed yet?
Yes, we are. We've had the Charlotte Freedom School cards printed and delivered. We
Okay,
have not delivered.
so the is the Freedom School just for Charlotte, or is it for the one that is happening here in Wilmington through communities and schools?
Oh, that's
also?
just for Charlotte. That's just for Charlotte.
Okay, so another question I had was or a comment that, you know, see at the bottom where you have the asterisk that NC Child will send you helpful updates and reminders. That's on the part of the card that they turn back in, not the part of the card that they keep. Does that matter?
Yes, and no, well, it's just in them filling that out, they read that and acknowledge that they're going to get feedback from us or follow up from us. It's just to let them know that that's going to be down the line.
Well, no,
and to expect it.
I only brought that up because you had made the comment earlier about when they get followed up, we want to remind them that they did this. Like, you know, who the heck is NC Child? Why are they calling me? You know, that's all. I mean, not that a lot of people aren't going to keep that top half anyway, and a lot of people are going to turn back the whole card and aren't even going to keep the top half. So it probably just a moot point, but
no,
okay, that's all
point taken for sure. Any other questions? Okay. And so we also, in addition to the paper pledge card, we have our ncchild.org/vote site where people can go and pledge online electronically. So they go to the site, they fill out a pledge form very similar, and this is what they get after they've made that pledge. And they also get a follow-up email with the same information. Again, it gives them more resources to understand where they can vote, if they're registered, get a sample ballot, the voter bill of rights from Democracy NC, and then they're able to share that they pledged on social media, which again is that, come on, you know, that jump on the bandwagon. This is something that we're doing. I've done it, so I want to engage you to do it too. So we are going to do quick breakout groups. I'm going to say about 7 minutes. And if you don't need the whole 7 minutes, you can just leave your group and come back to the room. But in this group, we are going to discuss obstacles you may have to getting the cards filled out completely, discuss your plans or your script for asking for voters to pledge. So let me get you guys back in your rooms. There you go. We'll have 7 minutes. Okay. Great breakout that I jumped into. I'm sure there was some great conversation in all of them.
Hey,
All
I'm
right.
sorry. It just,
Is everybody back? Okay. So real quick, maybe just one or two people want to recap what you talked about in your breakout group.
I'll jump in. So this is Stephanie from New Hanover County Council of PTAs. Our group was basically Bernice and I and Wanda talking about some of the obstacles we had. Was what happens if somebody asks, are they even eligible to vote? AKA, you know, I am a convicted felon, am I allowed, or whatever, you know, are you going to give us perhaps like an FAQ sheet that we can just either memorize or have in our hand, or that we can share with others? So we thought of that. And then we were wondering, so we get a card back from somebody. What do we do? Is there a turn-in place? Do we mail it? Some people, you know, may be concerned that, you know, we're going to do something more with their information other than just give it to you guys with that. And then one of our big things was help with the script. You know, what do we go out and say? How do we start? So we didn't have a script. We were hoping you guys were going to help us a little bit with scripts.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Any other feedback or anything else shared?
Javanae, I just wanted to lift up something that was discussed in our breakout. And that was the interest in having some Spanish language pledge cards available.
Okay.
Charlotte and I were in a breakout room, and Javanae was able to hop on briefly, but we discussed some of the obstacles that we might be facing with our nonprofits, or people that are experiencing homelessness or have been displaced, and maybe have limited mobile services and a mobile device. And so it's really how to figure out what is going to stick and what's concrete, so we can reach out to these individuals in English and Spanish speaking, and also transportation. So these were some of the obstacles that we found that would probably be an obstacle.
Yeah.
So what do we do about that?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, those are things that we really can collaborate across organizations and kind of think what has been working for organizations that do outreach to displaced people, what is working, what has worked in the past for maybe other projects that we can attribute to this project. And I'll definitely be downloading any information that I can and disseminate it again amongst all of you. We'll definitely work on the Spanish language pledge card.
Back to the Spanish pledge card, how, and maybe some techniques or some help on how we can approach like our families that are Spanish speaking and don't really want to give any information at all for fear of, you know, somebody's going to get in trouble, or somebody's mother's going to be deported, or, you know, something like that. So, you know, within the PTA, we do have a fair number of Spanish speaking families, and where the kid is basically the only English speaker. And parents are just real hesitant to give too much information at all.
Yeah. I know. And that would be something I think we can think about in terms of trust and what we do to serve the people that we serve, and what do we already have, again, in place in our organization. Do we have liaisons, Spanish-speaking liaisons, family liaisons in the PTA council that we can, or in the schools in general that we could utilize to help bridge that gap, or any of the other organizations on the call today. What are some pieces of your organization already that outreach into Spanish-speaking communities that we can really utilize in that sense, and have them inform how we go out and reach people? And again, also with displaced people, that might be something, if your organization works with people who are displaced, maybe getting their voices in through relationships you already have, and say, how can we meet this need? We want to empower people to vote. What's your input? So really not at all trying to reinvent the wheel, but maybe think differently about what we already have in place, so that we can kind of grease that axle and let it be more efficient and work for us in this space of voter engagement. But love all the feedback. We'll definitely kind of assimilate all that information and find you guys some resources. There are, I know somebody talked about maybe I think it was Stephanie talking about maybe people are felons and they're wondering if they can vote. I have some information I'll send out from some of our friends at different engagement organizations and nonprofits. So we are at our hour and a half, but does anybody have any other questions before we get off? I do want to respect your time, but also want to make myself available for questions real quick.
So when can we expect our cards?
They should be to you by next week. I just have to follow up with our communications department and see what our next step is there. But everybody's logos are in. So yeah, you should expect them by next week. And I also want to say that we want you to continue to be filling out or to get people to fill out the pledge cards. But I think the hottest time to do that, where it will definitely be more focused and people will be probably even more tuned in to filling out the cards, would be in September and October. So keep that in mind. If you're rocking and rolling now from the point you get your cards on, I think that's just a great way to challenge yourself to get as many as you can on the front end, but also taking advantage of those 2 months where things are going to be ramped up. It's already going to be on people's minds anyway, as we get closer to November.
And this is just a little off topic, but and most of you probably already know, but stay tuned. The governor is announcing what's going to happen with schools today at 3 o'clock. So that may help with some of your planning of events and how you reach some of your population.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Absolutely, Bernice, thank you for that.
Devnay, would you be able to forward that PowerPoint presentation to me? I'd love to be able to share that to Sonia, who's going to be training the advisors.
Sure. I can forward the PowerPoint to everybody. And recorded this session. So if you want the recording, I will send that along to, if you want to share it with other people in your organization that weren't able to be on today.
Javane, I wanted to, on behalf of our council, thank you for having this training, but also thank you, NC Child, for the grant money that comes along with our efforts, because that is definitely not unnoticed. We were wondering, are we supposed to be spending our grant money towards voter engagement projects, or can we spend them more, or can we spend them for other family engagement projects that we may do alongside of our voter engagement stuff?
Yes, you will be able to do that. You will, as I think you asked earlier about collecting cards and what you do with them. I will be sending out prompts for collection for you guys to send it back to us. So please use, portions of that grant money for mailing, and if there's anything that you want to use for voter engagement, flyers, banners, T-shirts for volunteers or staff. That's a great way to use that too. But as long as we get back those voter pledge cards with, with the funds that you have, then that's the most important thing, is getting those back.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to share, can you guys see this? My shirt, oh, wait a minute, hold on. My shirt, I just got my new shirt. So we can, we can appeal to our ladies. It's the 100th anniversary of women's right to vote. So all of us girls out here on this call, we need to be getting the girl power rocking, because we all know who makes all the decisions in this country. So, get the girls out.
Oh, who runs the world?
Yeah.
Oh,
We love you all.
Oh.
We love you too, William. We love you
all
too,
the
William.
all the encouragement is definitely appreciated. Okay, any other questions? Here are some of the sources that I used for our talk today. Nonprofitvote.org has lots of fact sheets that you can go to. You Can Vote has some great fact sheets too. One that I didn't use, an organization, I'm sure you all know, Democracy NC. They've got some great fact sheets if you guys want to check those out. And most likely those resources that I send you guys, I'll try to send them at least at the beginning of next week. You'll find a lot of the things asked for in this talk too. So. And if you want to reach out to me, please feel free to email me, call me, with any questions, concerns, or anything you want to share about what's working in your organization. And if there's anything, we'll have another training in September. We have, Lamine has worked really beautifully and hard on bringing us 2020 kids. It was scheduled to be in February or in March, I think, originally, and then the world shut down. So we are doing it virtually in August. It's August 4th and 5th. Please sign up for that again if you have not signed up for it. And we'll have another voter engagement segment in that piece too. So I'll send you guys a timeline for all of that. But again, thank you so much for coming to the training today. I look forward to working with each of you, and I just commend you on what you're doing in your communities. I just think you guys do great work from what I've heard and learned thus far, and I just hope I get to encourage you to continue what you're doing. And that's it. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Javane.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
This was awesome.
Thank you. It was very good and informative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was very informative. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much.